So we'll discuss Tableau performance recording, and if possible, if you have time, we'll go through COVID-19 dashboard. So the point here is like we used to create, we generally don't go for performance recording most of the cases, but I mean to say, like let's say if you are doing some like creation of dashboards or sheets, right? So we have an option called as, you can go back to help, settings and performance. You have an option called as start performance recording. Just like to track how much time it is taking and what actually happening in the back end side, right? There are few things. So I mean to say, just for a knowledge purpose, I'm just showing this, okay? So on a high level, it helps uh, to track something like the rendering time and how the Tableau creates the SQL, right? So we don't get SQL directly, but how Tableau generates the which visualization SQL, which SQL, and yeah, we can do something actually. So we can track something by making use of performance and recording. And let's say you have two approaches, and which approach is working fine. I mean to say, it's bit uh, it's not straightforward, but yes, we have an option to track this. So for I didn't create anything. So let's see. Um, you can just start, click on start performance recording. Then we'll try to build any of the report or a dashboard, so that we'll see how much time it will take. Okay. I do remember like in the performance recording. Okay, let's see. Let's create a Gantt chart. I'll try to build multiple reports. Okay, we'll see. Like I just want to showcase the query generator, how the query is going to generate. And for this size, do you remember like for Gantt chart, we used number of records into size, correct? Number of days, sorry. So to calculate number of days between order date and shipping date, we used date difference. So let's go for average. This is one requirement we have done. And let me go for one of the calculation. Let's create one chart. Okay, let's do this. Like I do feel we know this reference line concept, but let's see how much time it will take. Maybe this might give more information. Customer name into details section. We used parameters, right? I'm just creating the same dynamic reference line concept. Okay. Sales parameter, integer, some range. What is the range here for sales? 0 to 26K. Let me use step size 2. So this is the first time I'm creating for performance recording this chart, because I just want to see better results. So we'll check. we don't want to do anything actually, so we just need to develop. Okay, you understand, right? Whatever the development rights so we have, we just need to develop, and we can track that. Let's say for this is sales, right? We'll go for sales parameter. So we have this reference lines. I done some mistake, it seems, for it's not added as 2000. So, and we have written a calculation, right? So we have a calculation between the color condition if sum of sales greater than or equal to sales parameter, and sum of profit greater than or equal to profit parameter, then we have like winners, right? Else if the same thing, we just need to copy paste. I will change the one is great, both less than. Okay, let's go for both less than. This is losers. And I'll go for one greater than or equal to, one less than, and one less than, and one greater than or equal to, vice versa. This is opportunity one, and this is opportunity two, something like that. Okay, so if needed, we can assign a proper color. Winners green, some losers red color, and opportunity one some blue, opportunity two some yellow color. So I have created two sheets, right? And even you can drop size differentiation, but that's fine. So I created two sheets, and now go back to help, settings and performance. You just stop performance recording, that's it. So Tableau automatically creates a separate workbook. You understand, right? So it will generate a separate workbook to track the performance of these two sheets. So we have some key metrics and some information. Let's hope a better is, sometimes you don't get a query executing query, this option. You can see we have this timelines events query. So majorly you can see timelines, sheet, events, and query. Okay, this is
Ramesh,
yes.
sorry. What did you click again?
How to go back to help,
Nope.
Okay.
settings and performance.
Setting reference, start
When you
performance.
start right initially, once you develop the like once you complete the
Yeah, after
development,
developing this thing, so what do you click again?
again we will, it shows start, right? We'll get stop. You have stop,
Okay.
same thing. How to click on
Okay.
stop.
So after creating the double dashboard, it shows stop again.
Yes, when you click on start, automatically you'll get another option called as stop.
Okay.
Okay.
It's actually simple, like, so we don't worry about, that's what I mean to say, we don't want to generate all this, it automatically it will generate. So now The point here is, so this is sheet 1 related information. Okay. When you select sheet 1, you can see, interestingly, you're getting this query generated, right? So
What?
direct,
Sorry, Ramesh, hold on. What did you press now? How did you get here?
Sheet one.
so let's scroll down. Okay. Scroll down. I'm just checking for this green colored bar. Okay. So when you select this, what you're getting here, select ship mode, subcategory, and average of some date difference calculation. This is what Tableau generated SQL. You understand, right?
Mm.
So if I can increase the size, if I can increase the size of this automatic, let's see this. Height, I can say, so it is not working. Okay, let's go back to this sheet, right? Okay, we'll go to sheet here and we'll go for entire view. We'll get the complete query. So this is what the backend, this is what the Tableau generated SQL. So this is what the Tableau level SQL, how it is going to calculate. You understand, right? So let's see this calculation underscore 914230. Let me go back to this here, data source level. Have this metadata fields. What is the number of days calculation? 914230. 288 is number of days. 288 is number of days. So this is what the calculation, right? So this is calculating, this is the SQL, you understand, right? So this is the calculation, number of days, select ship mode, subcategory, and the date differentiation as calculation, this one. And we have some date time, to date time, date truncation, week level, some maybe for average or something like that. So this is order date. So there it is creating some temporary table. You understand, right? This is what the generated SQL for Tableau. Yes, it will generate SQL internally for calculations. So you can just click on each and every executing query, right? When you click on executing query, it will showcase how the Tableau like internally creates a select statement and uh, like it hits the database to get those results. Understand, right? What's here, what's you're doing, like, yes, this is what, this is the second sheet. So we are using customer name, profit and sales, correct? Profit and sales, and we are getting one single query. We don't have much information straight away. Customer, profit, sales, that's it. And for calculation, right, we done some calculation, correct? For the calculation, where it is, this is subcategory extract. We don't have anything, not much here. Let's scroll down. I'm expecting, I'm just checking for another, like we created a if condition, right? So I'm just checking for that
Yes.
calculation. So where it is calculated. So I'm just checking for that. temporary, you can see is temp calculation 91. We are not getting any reference line related one. There's a date difference one. There is also the date difference one. We are not getting. Okay, it's not generated. Maybe it's internally like the reference lines, but it should be. I'm expected for this calculation actually. So at least how it is going to work. 545. Let's see. 545. This one. So it directly calculating the orders of whatever the calculation we have done, that right, like the reference line calculation if condition. So it's capturing directly, it's calculating using some temporary, it's creating some temporary table and it's calculating the same. So we didn't have that detailed query, the logic, but internally Tableau is calculating those results, capturing by making use of this. So this is what one of the advantage, at least we can see how much time it is taking. Okay, I mean to say, selected something. At least we can track how much time it is taking in this particular it's entire view. I'm not sure. Okay, so you are getting both the queries like related to that specific sheet, correct? This is interesting. So this is what I want to showcase you. So what actually happening at the backend in the sense the Tableau level, how Tableau generates SQL and how it is it's going to calculate. It's not a regular SQL whatever we are going to write in the database level, but yes, it won't help for developers, but at least you can track something, uh, how this is generating, how this calculation is working, something like that. You understand, right? So this is where,
Ramesh,
yeah,
this SQL query, is this something that can be shared? You can send it to another person so that the person can view the dashboard that is being generated by that query?
you can share, like you can share to any of the person. If someone asks, like if we done only a basic level calculations. So, but
Yeah.
at least the interesting part about this, as I said, right? So we don't track every time the complete development, but while if someone asks, like this helps for interviews, like in real time, rarely we are going to check the performance recording because we don't develop we don't do the same development again, right? So if needed, you can go for while if you think that you are doing some calculation, you can just start performance recording and start developing the reports. And when you stop, this will generate the query. Maybe you can track how much time it is taking, the rendering time. You can see it's in, we have some details here. So we have this computing layout. So to display, right, for displaying some set of results, you can see there is rendering time to display the layout, compiling the query, right? So how much time it is taking to compile that particular query over the database. And you can see this one compiling the query. So each and everything is you can track here. So for this, you have only, you can see 0.0176 compiling query. So there are multiple things here. So this is executing query. How much time it took? 0.31. 0 seconds, 0.031 seconds. So something like that. If it is very complex, you can check how much time it is taking here. This is a start time, and based on, I think this is a Gantt chart. It's based on the size. Maybe it displays, yeah, you understand, right?
So right now it's calculating the time, the way it's moving.
Yes. So it's when you mouse over, the elapsed time 0.0176, right? The start time is different. Start time is different, but the elapsed time, just when you look into the elapsed time, you can see that. Maybe let's go back to this sheet. You'll understand the elapsed time into size. You can see
Okay.
it's a Gantt bar. We done same Gantt bar, right? So based on the, we are getting a minimal. I didn't see much thicker bars. You understand, right? If the bar size is, if the this bar is a Gantt bar, if it is very thick, that means it is taking more time. So there are a lot of like I mean to say, there are different terminologies. It's not important in the sense like it's not very important, but at least if you are a Tableau developer, like if you aware of something like this, the performance recording, then yes, it helps a lot actually. So at least remember that if someone asks like if what actually we can track in performance, yes, we have some timelines, events, and query. So we can capture the query, whatever the calculations happening in the Tableau level, at least we can capture some set of results by making use of performance recording. And if you're working on a complex project or very complex calculations, if it is taking more time, you can track, you can go through this timeline, and by looking over these bars, right, you can easily identify, okay, this is taking more time. You understand, right? So this is where the advantage, you can see the computing layout for sheet 1 computing layout, sheet 2 computing layout. So sometimes for display, it might take some time. So in that case, where like, let's say, I'll tell you an example, okay? So let's say you used different calculation. We can achieve average. We can achieve Windows average, right? Window average. And any alternate solution for this, exactly, we can use total sum of sales, total function divided by size. So I actually used to compare these two. A slight difference in seconds, in milliseconds, or very less, minimal differentiation, but some something like that. So if it is taking, let's say this is taking 2 minutes, example, and if it is taking only 1 minute 20 seconds, at least we can track these two differentiation, and we can say that we can prefer total size, total sum of sales divided by size. And if someone asks, like, no one is going to ask, but in general, if you want to improve the performance of a report, right, you can check how much, if you have complex calculation, try to avoid that based on these timelines. So wherever we can see the more size of the bar, I mean to say the elapsed time, the time taken. So then we can try to reduce that, or try to avoid that, those calculations, and we can try to improve the performance. This is where the high level. So we didn't work every time. That's what I meant to say. But this is on a high level where it helps. But at least for sure, you'll it helps for interviews. So at least if someone asks like, do you have any experience, or at least the performance tuning, right? So then you can tell like, yes, we can use extract connection to improve the performance. And in the worst case, we can do some performance recording and we can check what are all the calculations are taking time. Then we can track those results, and we'll try to minimize those number of calculations, or we'll check for the alternate solutions. Clear?
Yeah.
Go through it again.
Well, yeah, it's okay. Maybe by the
We
time
don't
one
want to
goes
do
through,
anything actually, so it's I
mm,
mean to say it's we don't use directly the start performance recording while doing the development, but yeah, at least the theoretical we can say that. So yes, I have some basic experience on
okay.
performance recording. Some.
Okay.
Now, if a recruiter asks you, what do you do on your day-to-day basis? What do you do daily? What is your daily activity? Describe your daily activity for
Daily
the
work, yeah.
how would you say it? How would you answer it?
Yeah, what we are going to do, so you can answer that. So that's what we discussed, right? That is what we discussed in the STLC process. So day-to-day activities, like, so generally first we'll check the emails, right? And do we have any meetings? So first we'll check the emails, and do we have any meetings? And based on that, we'll try to attend those meetings, and check the work, like whether we have any pending tasks, or any important task to complete, or what actually, so I mean to say to-do list. So what are the things we need to work on, right? But generally the emails will first we'll look into the emails, right? And the meetings, the schedules. So what are all the meetings we do have in a day? Based on that, so we can plan accordingly. Then obviously we'll check the work, like we'll work uh, based on the priority, or whatever, if you have any pending task to complete, or if you have any new task, new requirements, or any existing one. So then we can also tell that STLC all this, like basically we have some daily calls, so we can add these points as well. But usually this is what we used to do, right? In general.
Okay, the Scrum. Okay, now the daily calls is headed by the Scrum Master, right?
Yes.
Okay, and the Scrum Master is also like the project manager.
Any person. It can be a developer as well. It can be a
Or
developer who can play a scrum master role. Any person, like mostly we have kind of a manager or a team lead or a BA role. Yeah. It depends on the organization. Any person can work as a scrum master.
And the ETL, who are those who forms your team?
Team, we don't care, we don't work on ETL, right? So that is separate team.
Okay, okay. So now, as a developer, okay, depends on the kind of project. Because I feel some Tableau guys who got their jobs, there is already a dashboard in that company or in that organization. Now, what is their job when they get there? What do they do?
See, like, it can be anything, right? So let's say we have a project, we have a, let's say we are a civil engineer, or let's say we need to construct a building. It might
Mhm.
be already completed half of the stage, and they might facing some issues, or they need another multiple resources to get to be completed within some proper timelines. something like that. So there might be an existing project, there might be a new project, there might be already completed project which we need to support because there are a lot of users. And if we have any issues, we need to take care of those dashboards. Anything, any, like it might be a new project. That's what I have mentioned that day. So it might be a new project, or we may work on a existing project, we may work on a support activities, anything. So yes.
Mhm, mhm.
I have mentioned, I think, somewhere else.
What was that?
No, like regarding the work, like we may work on multiple things. So this one, so we may provide some support for the existing reports. Let's say it's simple actually. Let's say if there are like 1,000 users,
Mm,
and they are already created dashboards for the 1,000 users, and
mhm,
if they are using the dashboard, and sometimes the dashboard might break, or sometimes the dashboard, there might face some issues with
mhm,
the calculations or the data. So most of the cases you'll get the data issues, the backend data side, but they will raise a ticket because they are looking on a front end Tableau, right? They'll say that, hey, you're not getting proper data. Then we used to check. We have to check why we are not getting data in Tableau. Then
okay.
if everything is working fine in Tableau level, the calculation, but still the data is not matching, I mean to say their expected data is not matching, then we'll
Mhm,
check with the database team that, hey, this is what the issue we are getting. We are good with Tableau, and
mhm,
we don't have any issues around like Tableau level, but this is the issue in the backend side, maybe the
mhm,
data issue. So can you please look over that? So we can route that ticket, we can divert that ticket to a different team. So that's
mhm,
what, like, I mean to say, most of the cases, I mean to say 60 to 70% of the cases, it might be a data issue. Something data loading might goes wrong, right?
mhm,
So then we'll get some issues because it's already productionized, already
mhm.
tested, productionized, and we're good with everything. So if there might be some calculations, it will work fine at that instance, but sometimes data changes or some data type changes, or we are not sure. So in that case, we'll get some errors. Then we have to rework. Then we have to check what is the issue. So, or we'll get new requirements. That's what this is, the new project, right? So we'll get a new requirement. We have to understand the requirements, and then we'll start. Once we get the approval, we'll start working on the uh, start developing those reports or dashboards. So that's what the process actually. But in regular day-to-day activities, yes, we usually check emails. If we have any meetings, we check the time meetings, and any important things to do, to be completed, or what are all the tasks we need to do. So that's what I mean to say, this is the major one. So
And you wanted to talk about Tableau Online and Tableau Server. You know?
yes, we'll do that in the next class. So Tableau server, it will take at least 1 hour to complete this. So,
Mhm,
or around 50 minutes to 1 hour. So we'll see. Then we'll go through Tableau, like the COVID-19 dashboard. Okay. So we'll go through Tableau online or Tableau server in the next class. We'll plan this in the next class. So once we've done this, this is important, right? And then we'll go for COVID-19 dashboard. Okay.
okay.